Hey YouTube, Farm Riggin here. Welcome back to the channel. So today we are finally starting to work on this the skid steer. I picked this up a few months ago now off of my local Craigslist, and it was a really good deal, and there's a very good reason why it was a good deal. Here, let me show you. Okay, so here's the engine. Now, first of all, if you're observant here, you will notice, or you don't even have to be observant here, you'll see there's things disconnected, pieces missing, there's no turbo over here, there's no muffler, things are disconnected. This thing, somebody started to take this apart. Why were they taking it apart? Is it a bad engine? What's the story? Well, let me get a flashlight. I don't know if you can see down in there, you'll see it better, but do you see that bit of metal down in the hole that has a little bit of rust on it right where it dripped there? That is actually the crankshaft. There's a hole in the side of this engine block. Now, I have no idea the condition of the engine or the rest of the machine. I bought it exactly the way you see it. I don't even know if the engine turns over. I haven't even hooked anything to it to try to turn it over. The guy that I bought it from, he said that it was running. When it started to make a noise, they shut it off and they started to tear it down, found the hole in the block and left it. I believe he was like one of these guys that buys and sells equipment. I guess I might be one of those people, but he didn't want to mess with it because there wasn't any money in it. I need this machine on the farm for moving hay, and I got a decent enough deal that even if I got to dump some money into this thing, it's still going to be a good deal for me. So plan of attack right now is this engine is pretty much ready to come out. Thankfully, they already did a lot of the hard work for me. The bad part about that is I'm gonna have to find all those parts and pieces in a trash can they gave me full of parts. So if you recall one of the first videos that I made on this channel where we put that forklift back together, we had to do something similar. It was kind of a puzzle, 3D puzzle, if you want to call it that, of putting things back together. But step one, we got to get the engine out. I want to get it out and torn down because I'm still unclear what all has happened. I know it threw a rod, but what all did it damage in the block? My biggest concern is that the head and the crank are messed up. If that's the case, I need basically a whole new engine, because by the time you buy a new head and a new crank, along with a block and a rebuild kit, you can pretty much buy one of these things ready to drop in from what I've been pricing out. They are not easy to find. This is, I believe this is a Mitsubishi. When I get it out, I'll be able to look at the tag a little bit closer. I believe it's a Mitsubishi 3044C or DIT. I don't know. There's several different variations of it. I got to confirm what variation it is. It's a turboed mechanical injection fuel pump. There's no computers or anything like that on this machine that I know of, as far as actually making the motor run. There is computers systems on it, but that's for the joysticks and whatever else. But it's a pretty basic unit. So I'm going to dig around for some tools, and I'm going to kind of get a game plan, and I will turn the camera on when I know a little bit more here. Okay, so in digging around, this bolt is taken out. This is what holds the front of the engine down to the frame of the skid steer. It appears everything else has been disconnected on this thing. Now, in the back, I don't know if you can see this, there's a bolt in that yoke, U-shaped motor bracket, however you want to call it. There's a bolt in there, and there's one on the other side. I believe you take those bolts out, and then I have to undo the, what I would call a bell housing. Then this thing should come right out of there. So I'm gonna get to work on that. Okay, so here's the front of the machine. Let me climb up here. I got those 2 bolts removed on the motor mounts. Cab is tilted up here, and encountered our first our first major issue here. I don't know if it's an issue or what you want to call it. Climb up here. I don't know if you can see in there. You can see that. That is mulch, dirt, bark, you name it, all in here. Now, do you see up in there, that bolt? And there's a ring of bolts around the outside, and then it disappears into the mulch. All those bolts have to come out. So, we're gonna be here for a minute, scraping mulch and dirt out from inside this machine. Could be worse. I have seen people have to scrape out clay and everything else in these machines. I've seen several videos. I can't think of the one kid's name, kid guy. I don't know, he's probably about my age, it seems like. And he had one of these machines. I think it was actually a little bit smaller machine. Same thing. I do not understand how they get so full of this sort of thing. I mean, I do understand, but my goodness, that's nasty. So we're gonna be here for a minute, so I will check back in with you once I get this done. Okay, what a royal pain. So as you can see, I went and I took a piece of plywood and I cut it here because I had to lay down right here to reach up underneath the hydraulic tank to get all the bolts that are around on the flywheel housing. And yes, they go all the way around. Thankfully, somebody did not put the very bottom bolt in, or it came out. Either way, that is one bolt I will not be putting back in. It's almost impossible to get to with the way all the hoses are and everything, without disconnecting a bunch of stuff, and with all of this dirt and grease and chips and everything else in here. I really don't want to break any lines open if I have to. I had to take off this supplier return line on the hydraulic tank. I actually didn't take that off. It was that way when I got it, I discovered. So we'll have to change all the filters on this thing, because apparently it's had the system opened up. But anyway, that should be it on this machine. It should be ready to come out because the previous person had already disconnected a bunch of things already. So I'm gonna get a engine hoist set up here because there is enough room to get an engine hoist in there. And I'm gonna see if I can yard this engine out, see what kind of damage we can cause by taking it out. Okay, so we got this rigged up in a somewhat sketchy way, so we'll see if we can get this engine out of the skid steer without any drama. See what we're caught on. Okay, so on the front of the machine, the pump is not on its own stand. It's bolted to the back of the engine, so it's just free floating. So I've got to attach some sort of a setup to be able to hold the pump in the air while we try to pull the engine out. So this could be interesting. I'll turn you guys back on when I get this figured out. Okay, so sorry about that. I didn't turn the camera on soon. It was a lot of persuading. I ended up, it wasn't too bad, but I ended up having to take a chisel and gently tap it in between the pump housing and the motor to get it to come apart. Once I got the chisel started, it slid right apart. It was no big deal. But I had to hang the pump off of, I'll show you when I get this thing out of the machine. I had to hang the hydraulic pump off of the loader arms in order to support it somewhat so I can get the engine out. So we're gonna continue to fly this thing out of here. Lift it up a little more. Gently coax it out. And I think it's clear, with the exception of hoses that I have no idea where they go. That's neat. I need to get a service manual for this machine, but there's the motor. So now we just got to get this thing off of this engine hoist and onto a stand, and then I can show you the damage. I can almost show you now. I'll show you when I get this thing on a stand here. Okay, so I know I said I was going to wait until I got this thing on an engine stand, but I figured I would show you right now. You can probably see very clearly right now. Here, let me stop this from swinging. That piece right there is the crankshaft. So she winded the block pretty bad there. I got to get this thing torn down today. Let me see. Where's the tag? Oh, it's right underneath. Right underneath. 3044C-T. That's the model of the engine it is. I was pretty sure that that's what it was, but just wanted to confirm that. Somewhere here, there it is. Here's the stamp in the block for what it is. You can't really see it. It's a CJS 06367. So there she is. We're gonna get her torn down, mounted up on an engine stand, and torn down, and actually see what's all inside this thing. It should be quite entertaining here. Well, YouTube, I was just getting ready, like I said a minute ago, to put this thing on an engine stand. Unfortunately, we will not be putting this particular engine on an engine stand. Let me show you. I showed you this before. I'll get the light on. So you can see the extent of the damage there. And if you look, let's see if I can do this. Where's the lens? There's the lens. So if you look up in there, you can just barely make it out the bottom of the piston up in the hole. If you look at the crank, you can't really see it from this position, but there's deep gouges and scratches in the crank itself. You can kind of see them there. The most catastrophic thing though, for rebuilding this particular engine is that right there. That's the bottom of the injection pump. So, current list of things that need to be replaced on this engine as of just looking at it. Injection pump, crank, and engine block, along with a rebuild kit. At that point, when you price all that out, it makes 0 cents to put this old head and everything else back on that engine. I've been pricing out crate engines, and for, what did I figure, a couple $1,000 more than that, I can get a new engine, complete new engine. The other alternative is trying to locate a used engine. There's a gamble with that. However, they are significantly cheaper that way. And if I could find a somewhat low-houred machine, I would probably go ahead and do that. So at this point, this project's gonna have to hold until I come up with a new engine and engine parts. So this machine might be sitting in here for a little while because I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna be able to locate this thing before hay season starts. I might be able to, but I might not. So the next part to this series might be a few months. It could potentially be the end of the summer before I get back working on this thing. This thing will be put back together. I got a good enough deal on this machine, and I need this machine on the farm, that I am gonna go ahead and put this machine together. So it's not getting scrapped or anything like that. It just might live in the corner of the shop here for a little while while I try to hunt down an engine. So I think that's going to be a wrap for this this video of part 1 of tear down and work on the skid steer. So if you like this sort of thing, consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next video.